Let's get more now on our main story. Theresa May travelling to Brussels tomorrow for talks with the head of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker. They're expected to discuss future relations between the EU and the UK. Let's speak now to the UKIP leader, Gerard Batten, who joins me now from Westminster. And if you were at that meeting with Jean-Claude Juncker, what would you be saying tomorrow?
Well, something a lot different from Mrs May, I think. I'd be saying, well, first of all, I wouldn't be in the position we're in now because I would never have asked the European Union how we may leave, please, because you're bound to get a silly answer. They don't want us to leave. So I think what I expect Mrs May to do is to go along and give them an update on the Brexit betrayal process and then ask for her instructions from Mr Juncker on what they do next. We're in a completely terrible position precisely because we've gone about this the wrong way. The only way that it can be salvaged is to get rid of Mrs May and to put somebody in her place who genuinely wants to leave the European Union.
And do what?
Then tell the European Union how it's going to work and not keep asking them. We repeal the 1972 European Communities Act. We leave under our law, not theirs. And then we say, this is how it's going to work. You can have tariff-free trade, or you can have WTO terms. Please tell us what you want fairly quickly, and we can do either. Then we're going to reach an agreement on citizens' rights. And then over a period of time, we're going to disentangle ourselves from the 175,000 odd bits of European legislation, every jot and tittle. That will take time, but we're going to address it in terms of our priorities and our timescale. And yes, of course, we do want to trade, have friendship and cooperation with you, and this is how it's going to work.
Difficulty with all that, of course, is that we are at the moment a member of the EU, we are a member of the club, we have to do it under those terms.
Well, that's precisely what I just said. We repeal the 1972 European Communities Act so that we've left under our law and our constitution. And don't forget, Article 50 says that any nation may leave according to their own constitutional requirements. Well, our constitutional requirements are that we cannot bind a future parliament. We cannot have our laws made by an outside body. The whole of our membership for the last 45 years has been unconstitutional, unlawful, and actually void under our law. So we can take that position straight away and tell them how it's going to work going forward. But we need somebody who actually believes in this country, believes in our law and our constitution, to tell the European Union how we're going to make that work in a friendly and cooperative way, because of course we want to keep trading with them, they want to keep trading with us. But why on earth, if you were Jean-Claude Juncker and Mrs May comes to you and says, oh, how can we make it work? He doesn't want you to leave anyway. Why would he? It's not in their interest for us to leave.
But you see, this was very much the UKIP argument, wasn't it, before the referendum in 2016?
That's right.
And what we've found since is it's not that simple.
Well, the reason it's not that simple is because we weren't in charge of the process. I've been saying this for 25 years, that the only way you're going to leave is by unilateral and unconditional withdrawal. And we got sucked into this whole Article 50 procedure, which I wrote, back in 2000.
So ignore the concerns that people from Europe living here, Brits living abroad, ignore all the issues where frankly, for the last 6 months, there's been so much intense debate. Just ignore that, rip it all up and just go.
But you haven't, with due respect, you haven't listened to what I've just said, because I've said once we leave, we then say the second thing on the agenda, apart from trade, would be citizens' rights. And we could say everybody living here at the moment continues with the same rights they've got now.
Yeah,
all we're looking for
But you're absolutely ignoring the EU in this. I mean, presumably, what, you're thinking they will just say, yes, you're absolutely right, we're sorry you've gone, let's help you do it.
Well, let's come back to that specific point I've made. They've got about 3.2 million of their citizens living here. We've got approximately 800,000 of their citizens living there. Why wouldn't they want to reach agreement with us where they're getting the better part of the deal, because it affects more of their citizens than it does ours? On trade, they sell us far more than we sell them. So why can't we have a Prime Minister and a Parliament that understands the strength of their position and then represent that to the European Parliament? The European Union. We are dealing with a foreign power. And with the foreign power, obviously you have to understand the realpolitik of the whole thing. But we also have to understand your strengths and weaknesses. We have lots of strengths, and Mrs May is completely the wrong leader to represent those, because she doesn't understand those at all and isn't the slightest bit interested in representing our real national interests.
Yeah, but very quickly, I mean, is there a name you have in mind who should be doing this on our behalf?
Me.
Yeah, I thought it might be. I just thought I'd ask. Gerard Batten, great to talk to you. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.